Good afternoon, fellow Ambazonians. This one is a special edition for our daily podcast following the incident we happened from Bangalore, where Ambazonian citizens then turned against some Ambazonian forces, them killing one and burning one inside fire. This one a serious story. My name is Capo. I am the Deputy Defense Chief and the Anti-Kidnapping Czar and Attaché to the Ambazonian Governing Council Cabinet. My nickname is Sense Pass King, on our own countryman. This one a serious story. Fellow Ambazonians, good people for Southern Cameroon. There is a massive push to overpower Ambazonian forces across Ambazonian territory by using our civilians for go up against Ambazonian camps in the name of protest, then overpower them. In the case for Oku, the Cameroon military be the backup them, but wouldn't get our greatest shock for images the way they come from Bangalore, where the population they don't rise up, kill one Ambazonian fighter, burn him, carry to Hanam for terrorist Cameroon military.
One of the civilians of a village. Food and that's what I say. So they don't catch and military don't take to go.
So there is no sugar coating. We need to address the issue. The War Council didn't examine the issue to be clear with our people and for full disclosure. All the Ambazonian camps and for Barangi, they not be reachable. We don't try to reach the commander and forget exactly what will happen. All of them, none of them not be available. But after we don't reach out for the community, it be clear saying an issue for seizing of the farms of our people them. Our people them for they then get a lot of legitimate concern. Nevertheless, nothing where the soldier them fi do fi warrants the people them for kill them in that manner and for hand them for the enemy. This one now it don't show say such protest them carry a death threat for the life of the soldier, and soldier then get the right of self-defense. So next time if any people that want come towards soldier them, if the soldier them be cornered and they fear say the same thing will happen with them, they go react, they will get the right for defend themselves even with lethal weapon, because now a matter of life and death right now. So if next time population they approach Ambazonia camp because of this happenings, me they know say the soldier they use lethal force for defend themselves. We know now 100% say the Cameroon military they be plan the protest for Oku, and it not be based on any rough work where these people they don't do and for the. Unlike this one for Bayangi, where the people they be rise up because of excesses, mainly because the soldier they be damn turn the thief na people that farm, the seize people that cocoa, people they don't borrow money go make their cocoa farm it be very bad for them for the do but nothing not justify the action of the civilians. And we'll go right to the bottom of this issue. The biggest problem we don't push our civilian the way they don't be vulnerable for be weaponized by the Cameroon government and their military. First, now because of lack of command, control, discipline, and a sense of purpose for many of those fighters them, especially the fighters them for the ARF, where they not get command and control. The first issue we don't build up this issue na say we don't go through an era where it will be dominated by activists with little or no intellectual and political backbone. They don't give our people them the impression say chaos now winning. Say there must always be a constant battle, a constant sense of chaos, and then you go show say the struggle with worker fine. I remember sometimes the activists that they ask says, I don't want to call names. If action over there for some place, no noise, nobody, place then just quiet, it means a lot of public it win. It don't make our people them for their subconscious they associate peace now or just a sense of tranquility as some type of La Republic control. And this one, it be wrong. The ideology for this, our liberation war, as Dr. Choi Abadi always talk, it be based on which way a occupation it be predicated on. It be predicated on many factors them, and it guide our policy. First, the military occupation, and the occupation itself, it be meant for create a space for Cameroon for get the administrator and for the. So in areas where we don't really liberate them, where you not get no Cameroon administrators, there is no need for be heavy fighting or constant chaos. Our people them in those zones who they try to settle them, get them in a transitional mode. So in area the way you see say ADF then liberate them, it be peaceful life they go on for the peacefully, and with the focus on building community school, health center, and forgive a transitional phase a chance. The population they tend for see those area like area where you not get no fighting, area where you not get no chaos. For them, because of those poor activism, they defeat that area, they maybe they know they find. Some people they even turn for us and say why the area the way ADF they control them, you need to get constant fighting. There is priority where they get down for area the way then get Cameroon the administrators, or where they try for rebuild. Now those areas where they try for put more resources. So the prioritized place where they fight, we need to fight anyhow. But for forces the way they don't be affected with that mindset, they be confused when they don't kick out those administrators, and they start turn for become a problem for the community them, where they live together with them. They not get no guidance, no code. I remember time where the mountain lions they be enter for a government school for disperse the crowd, and they be beat picking them. I call them the soldier, the commander tell me say the soldier them be actually want shoot those picking them, the one key they picking them. Now he be intervene. And they no be ready get no code of conduct. They no be ready know how to handle this type of situation. They never give them any instruction about school. They never give them any instruction about nothing. Those soldiers, then those they carry gun, they make their own policy as they go. The second thing we then cause this problem, where civilian they be used now by Cameroon government for attack Ambazonian fighters, and the most important thing, now the delegitimization of forces and the direct call for them to be killed by people the way they be renowned, like Chris Anu, as will be here for their ABC TV channel. You will get Chris Anu, John Egewan, Barrister Full John, so they can stand for talk say make forces them, make population then kill forces. Chris Anu talks say if he carry gun, if he kill the forces then with his own hand. I mean the forces they generate them for inside Bamenda for Mezam. They name them from the one from 7 Qatar to the ADF forces to the Kui for them. Then call them by name. Talk say me people then kill them. Immediately even report them for La Republic. That statement alone, it don't make them more people they don't feel say those type of things and be allowed in certain instances. Whether Chris Anu and Johnny Gewan and Barrister Fuljon saw they will do so deliberately or out of certain influence. That one is topic of its own. It never belong for inside Bui. We community they don't gather for go build football station stand for begin play their football. Soldier them for the former Bui warrior soldier the way they like to work with ADF. Then go stop the work. And then feel say that type of normalcy it go mean say they lost, and that one an area where they control them. Now we can intervene for advise the soldier them middle level, so they get a lot of wrong conception because of bad intellectually bankrupt activists and where they don't dominate the airway. So our people they associate calmness with La Republic the win or the struggle the die. This one they make and the soldier they react radically when they see say there is no chaos and the population they don't get a sense of calmness. So we need for educate soldier they know say calmness in a period. So when they win for area, they should be calmness and they should encourage and they should engage with the local population to build a transitional authority as the ADF that to do. This process will be very critical. Some of the area the way they don't be liberated, the soldier they just be so confused. They start now they begin making a road control. They collect money for people and they don't even get advice on the ramification of those actions. They always talk say 2 heads are better than 1. I think say in the ADF the difference now say you get a whole committee, a whole war council, a lot of people with our legal team where they think about the policy then for ground. they advise the soldier them, and decision to be made by the political wing. So it avoid all those excesses then what the same way they develop within area where they be under the influence or control of the ARF soldiers. Them. So soldiers, to be honest with our people, are out of control. There are many places where the soldiers don't go out of control. They don't become a big problem for our community. This one a problem that we need to solve them. And that problem it don't come as a result of all the things we are naming. More importantly, the lack of command and control. Forces they don't get command and control, they don't become a big burden for we. When I feel look at it happen for 4 years, when I feel look at it happen for inside Bafut, and all those things they start happening because of lack of command and control. That way Bafut if we deal with the ADF for the contender force, they no be record a single kidnapping for ransom. So you can go all around the examples, you see the trend of this thing. So you need to get command and control. Now the reason that way, before self-defense, they father them for self-defense, they will start. They be being a soldier the way they don't fight for ground. Ayabacho, Benedikwa, Ebenezer Akwanga, they don't fight for ground. They don't challenge Cameroon military, lost soldier them. They know war. They don't travel abroad, they don't do diplomacy, they know which way to work, they know which way they need to work, they don't protest. So then decide for mitigate this problem, for build a force on the ground, train soldier them. So now who them and now how they get this command and control. Political control of forces are very critical for the stability and peace for our people them, and for avoid all these excesses and all this yam. For the political group then will get them, and will advise that they must be in charge of forces them. We get political group them for Ambazonian struggle now more risk. You get APLM, you get AGOF-C, you get ARA of Godidinka, you get SCNC, and then you get the IG groups. These are the political groups who will get them for inside Ambazonia. But inside all these groups, now only 2 of these group them then get capability, then get competent for handle forces, because they feel established, then get already command and control, and they feel be able for guide forces them and for make sure that they feel control them. So now 2 criteria than this for the international groups them where they consider them before they want call a group a force, and you need a force for liberate. You don't need na janjaweed and cartels them for liberate the country. One of the criteria them now say before a political group they want get control and command, they must be capable for recruit, train, arm and deploy. Now the 4 criteria then this where most of the company them where they be specialized for military analysis, they use them before they want call some group a force. Most of them they call them as soldiers or just fighters and things like that. So inside all the Ambazonian groups, not only 2 groups them, to one extent 3, they then qualify for get force and then get the capability for command and control. And all groups them, for we for already be effective, they need to align with these groups. One, now the SCYL, or we did call on the APLM now, of Ebenezer Akwanga, where be the leader. And then you get the AGOF-C, the Ambazonian Governing Council, where they get the ADF. Now the only 2 groups this way they recruit, train, arm and deploy their forces, then get a clear command and control. Their commander-in-chief them, if he give order, they will take them. The IG also, if he don't recruit, he train, he fail for arm and deploy. They be recruit. We don't see the video them for soldier, the ARA, where they be recruit them for Nigeria, then train them for during the period of arming and deploying, they be fail because their treasurer at that time, without naming names, it be delay for send money for them, and they end up for pick up most of them. But we think that one are just because the whole IG, their concept, it be just be now because they be see which way other group that they do one for daddy. Remember, say for daddy, the ADF be the train, and also Sokadef, it be the train for the. So now we get now just 2 political group where they be capable of command and control. You get one, the ADF, the AGOF-C, and you get the APLM. If Ambazonia if you win this war, now these 2 group them if you control the military. Even Seseko Ayuk Tabi, he don't admit say we need for get for a place. According to he, where all defense will be handled by the ADF if we want to win. Make a play an excerpt of Seseko during one of our meeting with ye.
As somebody had already mentioned, issues, the aim of C at the moment is not just doing self-defense. Aim of C is also involved in diplomacy. Ideally, we should get to a stage where we say, listen, maybe they are doing enormous work on self-defense. It would make a lot of sense to just support them and channel all self-defense efforts to AGOC. Hopefully we'll get to a stage where that will become automatic. These are baby steps we are taking. I urge you and I plead with all of you that let's accept these baby steps. There are things that we can do. The low-hanging fruits that we can harvest now are issues like when the AGOC makes an announcement that...
So that is the same conclusion that Seseko have made, and the rest of the excuses why the IG should not just back the AGOC is because some people within their constituency, probably we know already that reason. But the point has been made. It be very important, command and control be very important for this struggle for succeed. And you see, for example, even when the Sokadev, they go close church, Catholic church, they harass a Catholic church for Atlantic State, you will see how their leader, Ebenezer Kwanga, he take responsibility. He be active with both with the population and for set a code with the soldier them. And those are the type of thing you never ever see them for any single, one case for the ARF, for the political leadership, no. So you need a group where you get command and control for all forces them for a line under. And only two group then they will then get the capability, then get they meet up with the international criteria for manage a force. Because now only two group the way they don't do these four things and the four criteria. That group where it don't recruit, it don't train, it don't arm, and it don't deploy. Naturally, those going through those processes will generate and create that command and control within the forces and the respect of that institution by that forces. So if Ambazonia need for completely beat this thing, we need for align ourselves, all forces, under the ADF or the Sokadev. Even Seseko, he don't admit that one as one another here. Currently, now only these two groups then get command and control structure. For the ADF, now who did they actually control? Some people did ask them. ADF, he get presence, that means calm them, for 7 states amongst the 13 states them. 5 of those states them, it be of strategic importance. The IG don't have forces. They don't have any forces because they have not gone through these 4 criteria. Does it mean that forces they know they pay allegiance to the IG and stuff like that? No, it don't mean so. And this one will be important because the type of political leadership will lead us for establish a country could determine the type of future where we could get them. A future where it could be stable, for create an environment where we get democracy. It will come about as a group of people who then liberate themselves with command and control on the ground, on the forces them. Otherwise, we will end up for become like a Taliban type of a country, or even the type of a country we see for Somalia. And I will explain for now why. The forces them way them be loyal to, or where people then feel say na IG force, the ARF, na a contract-based force. These forces them, na forces the way na themselves set up themselves. Most of them, na former ADF or Sokadev fighters them, where they don't be tribalized by elements where they use money to pay them for what they call them, pay for loyalty scheme. So you get the IG now like a Taliban and Somali type of setup. And if now then dominate Ambazonian struggle will win, we will end up for become like a Taliban country or a Somalia country, where it be ruled by powerful clans with their own militias, because the means will justify and the means will create the end, we need for another one. The way we will take up for windy war, it will determine how type of life we will live. Now, why when I see some people that they fear a Southern Sudan type of scenario based on the type of activity they will take up for free the country. So make we be very sure about this. If we go the way for the IG of a group where you not get command and control for lead us to independence, we will end up for become like a Taliban country or a Somali type of setup, where it be ruled, as I say, by powerful clans with militias who are very strong. You see, like in Afghanistan, like in Somalia, and like a situation of the IG, if that comes to pass, you will get a central government where it be guaranteed by clans cartel, where they will pledge their loyalty to the central government in exchange for financial support and legitimization. So you see the IG at the same setup. You get barons them for inside the IG, when a tribalist individuals them, where they run their cartel, then where they don't buy them off for ground zero. They offer those cartel, they make pledge loyalty for the IG. In exchange, they could give them position and they will give them money. Most of these type of things, the money they end on the ground, because the very nature of those people, the way they get those forces, they not be recruit, train, arm and deploy. They simply just buy a boy, then where they know them, or not try. They use their vernacular power for take over those groups them. So the IG no get command and control. The command and control of their forces them, it be remain now on those lots them where they be on those their areas, so they call an accounting boss or whatever. Then they like a subcontract. So the IG basically it rents groups them, and when you rent something, you know if you get ownership, it the best way to rent a house. At any time the physically replace you, put another tenant for that house, the owners then feel replace you. Now whether you see say you get for inside like place of FACO, you get influencer people then like a song format where they run this scheme for collect money for the IG. In exchange, they go ask their soldier them for grant for become make video them for recognize for pay a loyalty with the IG head. So you get repeated videos of this boy them always they come up for can make video for talk say them be lawyer, them be they support na Sako, they support na this one, because they lack that legitimacy. So the soldier they need for always they repeat those type of things. You go hardly ever hear IG ADF forces that they make this video regularly or begin the pledge allegiance to an individual rather than an institution. The same thing for the ARAF forces that they for inside Mezam. You get the tribalist lords like Sama Thomas, Dr. Fossa, and you get where they run with the Quifors them for the year and all those stuff them as well. You also forget for Bui, you get this guy for Germany there, the nurse, and then you get for Momo, you get Irene Gua, you also get Sikot, and then for Lebelem, of course, you get Chris Anu, where you get the control over a brother, Oliver Leke. Oliver Leke will pledge loyalty to whoever Chris Anu want them, and all those tribal lords them too, their soldier, the way they be with them, where they then capture them using the power of vernacular and sell their endorsement in exchange of money and position. So the IG leader, it be bound for these people, because without them, they don't get no endorsement for ground, no connection at all. So these people, them also, because them buy those their influence using money and because of family relationship, where they get those control over those forces, they know say be predicated on recruitment, training, deploy and arm. So they basically become corrupt by that system. They collect money and they need to send those money for those soldiers, because after all, their loyalty then be bought already. And the foot soldier they leave, they consider them like primitive people where they don't really understand anything. They treat them very poorly. Not just the very nature of it. We really think you go for look for the Taliban, now the same thing. Taliban soldier they work and out, they not be well dressed, they always suffer poverty. And even for Somalia, you be controlled by tribal army them, where they be very poorly educated, then lack equipments and all this stuff. So those are the type of thing we see for IG. You cannot have what you did not create in the first place. So those people they control those groups, they never created them. The Sama Thomas, the Fosters, the Asong, the Fombat, all those people are Ringwa, they never created those groups. So you cannot own something you don't create. But the ADF owns their forces because they created them. And so it's easy for forces to come in and fall within that structure. The IG is just impossible. So those soldiers without that command and control, they don't fall into those categories for being carry out those excesses. Even you look for Taliban, even when the central government, they talk for the international community, say they could guarantee right for school, people, women never go for school. But you see, say for ground, they not implement them because they are soldiers, they see close school them. For the IG, now the same thing. No matter what, the noise the leader they make up their soldiers, they see misbehave for ground. Because those people they not get competent. Their main concern for them not be about their well-being. Their main concern are for gain the influence and power where they get them for the IG, and the soldier they remain for be a thorn in the flesh of our people them because of that lack of command and control. And you always get the issue where each time this type of conflict they come, you get the elites them where these lords them they threaten for revoke those loyalty for the IG. If the IG they succumb to them, you get all this type of conflict. You get scandals of corruption, misappropriation. You get infighting and be sustainable. It remain in a primitive level. Now why the way Taliban they not fit develop Afghanistan. Now why the way Somalia it done there for years and years. They never make any democratic progress. Their population it can just be lost. Ambazonia is supposed to abandon this way. It need to work. They need to align themselves. That time it don't come like Siseko talk. Otherwise, we will see this type of thing where it don't create situation where the population they be used, weaponized by the enemy for overpower and overthrow the Ambazonian forces. It very big crucial. Say make all forces them align either with the AGOFC, the ADF, the Ambazonian Governing Council, or with the APLM. Those two groups are the only groups that are capable. The APLM, of course, you can debate whether their leadership will be democratic or not, whether you have the capability to attract talents and stuff like that. But definitely the AGOFC, I would recommend that for all these things to stop, the AGOFC, every soldiers have to align under them or be under their influence, become a sister force, so that they can mitigate and use their influence and their power of command and control to try for solve this problem. Take a look at this. Even if Siseko accept, say in the future that for all forces them for align and for defense for be left in the hands of the Ambazonian Governing Council, think about it. What reason will Ambazonia they will give if they know that the winning formula this, and for them to turn the other way simply because there are some individual of those boss warlords them where they then decide to go spoil everything. Every day when they see Chris Anu, it can't stand, it deny collaboration. Every day when they see these people that they be incapable because they feel vulnerable with their political setup and their influence on the ground. They not be stable. They be afraid and get complex. So they not go allow stability. They not go allow any environment where if we will go forward and for bring command and control for ground, for stop kidnapping. They not fit take responsibility. Like how when they see how the AGOFC they take responsibility. So it don't be in a situation where any person will then do some rough thing for them. They won't try to blame AGOFC because they know at the end of the day now only ADF get that capability for intervene for ground. And now only them get that motivation. Now because then don't go through that process of becoming a force. Now the reason that way the international community recognize the AGOFC, the AGOFC and the APLM as the two force them for ground, no matter what you do. So, ladies and gentlemen, why we go continue for struggle, for make sure say there is some command and control over the forces, the ARF forces as well, to get that influence and benefit like they are benefiting by having a memorandum of understanding with the AGOFC and being under our influence. That is the only way to beat this shame we have seen in Bayangi. And I hope our people they will think seriously in a patriotic manner and do the right